Well, there's a clear winner in the poll. Terminator. Is there a more iconic killer robot out there? The answer is no, but feel free to comment below. Go ahead, tell me all your choices. And don't say Chopping Mall. I did that one already. And it was an earlier video of mine, so the format was a little different, but here's a title card in the corner if you want to check it out. Written by James Cameron and Gail Ann Hurd, The Terminator was an ambitious 1984 sci-fi movie about a killer robot from the future sent back to kill Sarah Connor, mother of John Connor, who would lead the human resistance in the future. Together with Kyle Reese, a soldier from the future, they attempt to outrun the machine before it can complete its task. This was James Cameron's breakout film, even though he had directed a film before, that being Piranha 2: The Spawning, a solid 80s B movie. While The Terminator was a strong film in both writing, effects, acting, and concept, the most memorable aspect of the whole film is the titular antagonist played by the legend that is Arnold Schwarzenegger. Okay, so saying Terminator is kind of a broad statement for fans of the franchise. While each film brought a new form of Terminator, some are worse than others. I'm looking at you, John Connor T-3000. And while the T-1000 is arguably the most menacing due to Robert Patrick's performance, there is only one true Terminator that comes to mind when you say the word. This video's focus will be solely on the 1984 Terminator model, but I will use information from other films and shows in the franchise since the T-800 model is featured in them. Before we dive in, I plan to do another poll and we'll announce the two contestants at the end of the video, so stick around if you want to see what the choices will be. And without further ado, let's explore the one-liner spitting, dual-wielding, cop-hunting fusion of slasher and machine, the Terminator. Cyberdyne Systems Model 101 Series 800 Terminator, or T-800 for short, is, well, tell him, Kyle.
The Terminator's an infiltration unit. Part man, part machine. Underneath, it's a hyperalloy combat chassis. Microprocessor controlled, fully armored, very tough.
What he said. Other than the obvious perks of being a machine, such as extreme strength, unlimited endurance, enhanced targeting systems, voice mimicry, what does the T-800 have going for it? Well, the T-800 is an unrelenting machine, and a self-governing one at that. While in the future all Terminators are attached to the Skynet network and controlled more directly from a central system, the T-800 found in the film has full autonomy. I do say that loosely. What I really mean is that it was sent back in time with a certain task, and the detailed programming by Skynet was sufficient enough for the T-800 to function by itself without a hive mind. Intelligence is no stranger to the T-800. Being a walking computer, the system has detailed data files on human anatomy, which help it be a more efficient killer. The system is also a learning computer, so the Terminator can adapt to its current situations and problem solve, as learned in Terminator 2. So it's smart, it's versed in literally every weapon out there, but what's it made of? What about its defense? Well, it's made of pure human flesh, organically grown with no added preservatives. While it sounds like a joke, it's actually true. The T-800's exterior is living human tissue grown specifically for the machine. While there's no information on how the flesh stays healthy while on the machine, based on the film, the stability of the flesh is limited. It has the same durability as regular old human flesh. Remember when you cut your finger opening that can of beans? Well, the T-800 knows your pain. Except he can, oh my god! Once the flesh takes damage, its integrity is compromised and it will begin to decay. You want some evidence?
Hey buddy, got a dead cat in there or what?
See, the janitor knows things, like what a dead cat smells like. He's a man of culture. Other T-800s don't seem to have this issue, and one argument is that the skin was not yet fully perfected by Skynet. Personally, I feel it was a director choice. The later versions of the T-800 take the hero role, and I don't know many heroes who have their faces melting off and smell like dead animals. While the outside is a flawless representation of the peak male physique, the inside is a whole different story. What's it made of again, Kyle?
It's a hyperalloy combat chassis.
Ah, yes, a hyperalloy, of course. What's a hyperalloy? Don't know. Okay, so the hyperalloy is a fictional alloy found in the Terminator franchise, and the only known component is coltan. And while hyperalloy isn't real, coltan is, and it's short for columbite tantalite, which is mined for its tantalum that is used in capacitors. The T-600, a predecessor model to the T-800, was made from a titanium alloy, so likely the hyperalloy is a fusion of titanium and coltan. The coltan having a higher heat resistance helped improve the alloy, making the new Terminators able to withstand heat-based weapons. This information was from the Sarah Connor Chronicles, so nice work, person who wrote that episode. Tapping into a little bit of realism. The hyperalloy chassis also gives the Terminator extreme resistance to bludgeoning and melee attacks, as well as traditional small arms fire. The T-800 does have weaknesses, namely giant pneumatic presses. But since you can't wield one of those, what other things can hurt the Terminator? In short, plasma weapons, 50 caliber BMG rounds, and depleted uranium rounds, pressure, explosives, electricity, and extreme heat. While most of these are self-explanatory, a couple can use a quick note. The first T-800 is killed when crushed in a pneumatic press, which was powerful enough to almost completely flatten the cyborg's torso and head. We don't know what the exact pressure was, so we can't say for sure how much is needed to do the task. In Terminator 2, we see the T-1000 use a large steel I-beam to smash the T-800's chassis. We do get audible cracking sounds, likely indicating chassis damage, which allows the T-1000 to impale the T-800, meaning that there was enough strength there, but again, that still doesn't give us a real gauge on how much pressure was required to even damage the chassis. For heat to work, it must be extreme, such as the T-800 being lowered into the slag pit at the close of Terminator 2. Take note, modern filmmakers, this is how you make men cry. Okay, information covered. Time to see the build. The T-800, medium construct, lawful evil. Armor class 16, hit points 104, 30 movement speed, 20 climb speed. Saving throws, strength, and con. It's got 25 strength, 15 dex, 20 con, 15 int, 15 whiz, 10 charisma. It has skills in athletics, deception, perception, intimidation, and investigation. Damage resistances, bludgeoning, cold, piercing, fire, slashing, acid. Damage immunities, necrotic, poison, psychic. Damage vulnerabilities, lightning, and force. Condition immunities, charmed, frightened, petrified, poisoned, diseased. Dark vision up to 120 feet, passive perception of 15. Languages, common. You can take liberty with that. It can probably speak any language you want it to speak. It's a challenge rating 5. The T-800's traits are 2 forms, false skin, relentless pursuit, machine will, and weapon knowledge. 2 forms. The T-800 is designed to hunt down a target in plain sight. As such, its true form is hidden by a false skin. With false skin active, all damage done to the T-800 is directed at the skin until it reaches 0 hit points. False skin. The false skin provides no additional armor, has 40 hit points, and has no damage resistance or immunities. If the T-800's false skin is damaged in combat, the wound will not heal and the skin will begin to rot after 1d6 days. After the skin is lost to rot or damage in combat, the T-800 will be reduced to its endoskeleton. This activates Relentless Pursuit. Relentless Pursuit. With its disguise gone, the T-800 enters a frenzied mode, pursuing the target, disregarding its own self-preservation. The T-800 gains an additional 20 movement speed and an additional 1d6 damage to the target. Machine Will. When the T-800 is reduced to 0 hit points, it may reactivate with 1 hit point on a successful Constitution DC 15 saving throw. Weapon Knowledge. The T-800 is proficient in all melee and ranged weapons, if you didn't see that one coming. It has a multi-attack to make 2 unarmed strikes. Its melee attack comes with an additional caveat. If both attacks successfully hit the target is grappled. While grappled, the T-800 does not need to roll to hit the target. The target must be a DC 16 to escape. There's clearly room for a DM to embellish things. It can speak other languages besides common. Its unarmed strikes could become sword strikes. They could become bow attacks. Your false skin doesn't necessarily need to have 40 hit points. You can have some liberties. Maybe you want your Terminator to take 1 firebolt to the face and half its face is already gone and now you see the horror underneath. So it's pretty open-ended. Have fun with it. The 1984 Terminator is one of cinema's most iconic villains. While the T-800 would go on to become the hero, no one forgets the cold and calculated monster they first met. Thanks to a great screenplay and a perfectly casted Arnold, even if he didn't know what the film was about, the Terminator blended sci-fi and slasher, giving birth to this outstanding film. Thank you all for sticking around to the end of the video. If you like my content, please give the video a like and subscribe. It would definitely mean a lot to me. The next poll I'll be putting up will be between the graboids found in Tremors and the parasitic slugs found in the movie Slither. Anyways, that's all for now. Until next time, enjoy my rendition of the theme music to Terminator. Da-dun, dun, da-dun. Da-dun, dun, da-dun. Da-da-da. 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 Da-da-da.